US, we have this idea that the country's built on a bedrock of individual freedoms. That we're about the individual's right to, within a certain sphere of autonomy, do what they want to do, believe what they want to do, and practice the religions they want to practice, and raise their children the way they want to. And we know historically that wasn't always true, but we think we've gotten to a point where for women, for different races, for different religions, we have equality in the US, and that's not really true. At the same time, there's a tension between the fact that we treat the United States as the great American melting pot. We think that everyone that comes here should have a chance to be their own, within a certain sphere, do their own thing, but also to join in the larger American culture. And we're going to look at that tension in this class. We're going to start by looking at families. Do you realize we're less than 100 years away from a system that literally, and I mean literally, paid bounties to people to kidnap Indian children off the reservation and take them to boarding school? Can you imagine being a parent and coming home one day and not knowing where your child is and never finding out whether your child is alive or not, and they were kidnapped and taken to a religious boarding school where they were punished for practicing their religion, where they were taught to live in boarding facilities in big dorms, so they lost the idea of what it was like to be in a family? That didn't stop till about the 1940s, and we still have Indian boarding schools today. But what we also have now is something called the Indian Child Welfare Act, which a lot of people have heard about, but which the Supreme Court recently gutted in a case. So now we're kind of back to the idea that the way to erase a generation, or the way to erase a culture, is to erase the next generation. By taking Indian children out of families and out of Indian families, we're erasing what it means to be Indian in the United States, unless they conform with our idea of how they should live. Second topic we're going to look at is religion. We really pride ourselves on being a country of religious freedom. That's what this country was founded upon. But that doesn't apply to Indians. Do you realize that until the 1930s, that is, it was a crime to practice an Indian religion? People were punished by having their rations taken away. They were punished by whipping. They were punished by being jailed on reservations if they practiced their traditional religion. And today, Indians that practice traditional religion that involve eagle parts have to apply to the US government for permission to get the items necessary to practice their religion. Do you realize that it's illegal to own parts of a bald eagle or a golden eagle unless you have permission? And you have to apply to the repository. And you might wait years for a feather or a talon that's necessary to practice your religion. And even before you can do that, you have to meet the federal government's definition of who qualifies as an Indian to be part of that religion. And the final topic, there's sort of this passion now to reconnect with our past and to take pride in being Indian or having Indian heritage. But being Indian is part of a political status in the US. And it means being a citizen of a politically recognized tribe. And there are benefits for that, often stemming from treaty relationships. But one of the major benefits is education. So we have something we call check-the-box Indians, which are people that are claiming Indian heritage to get an advantage for that, even if they don't necessarily qualify for it. So what does it mean to be Indian? Who should qualify for these advantages? And how should we police that? How should we regulate that? So when we say we're a country that promises freedom and individual expression and protects and celebrates that, how far does that really go? Where are the limitations on that? And that's what we're going to explore in this class, and I hope you'll join us for that exploration. I hope to see you in class.